What better way to start Woman Crush Wednesday than with your two favorite girlies, Diana Master and Anna Riza Quayo, on your favorite morning talk show. You are watching Smell the Coffee this beautiful, beautiful Wednesday morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I can't complain.
Yeah.
I mean, all is well.
All is well?
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's good. I mean, I really think, yeah, you're right. We can't complain. I think we must just be grateful that everything is, I don't know, I feel like as much as things don't look the way you want them to look at the moment, I feel like sometimes there are things that we can't see.
Yes.
I was watching the show Scandal. Yes, I'm behind. I'm way behind, but you know, I just recently started watching Scandal, and the one guy says, just because you don't see things happening doesn't mean that things aren't happening.
Right. Yeah. I saw another motivational speaker or preacher, and they were saying that oftentimes we think that God is not working, or we think that we are so stagnant, or we are praying, we are working, we are working out in the gym, we are exercising, but it seems as though nothing is happening. But meanwhile, things are actually happening in the background. It's happening. It's just that you can't see it.
You can't see it. So
because
just,
everything, there's a process to everything, I always say. For you to become a success, you have to put in years and years of preparation. But then, and to another person, it looks like overnight success.
Yeah.
But it's never overnight success.
Yeah.
It's years and years and years of you working. It's years, even in your spiritual life, it's years of you fasting. It's years of you praying. But just because you prayed for it today doesn't mean it's going to happen today.
Tomorrow,
it can take 10 years.
Yeah.
But it's a prayer of 10 years
Because what do
ago.
they say? They say that a day to God is like 1,000 days to us.
Even if it's not spiritual, even if it's like when it comes to fitness and working out in the gym, you don't go to the gym, do 150 squats
and
expect to have a nice body.
Yeah, exactly.
It's years and days of you working hard, you drinking water, you eating right, and then eventually you get the body.
Yeah, and I think also just, like I'm saying, not giving up because you don't see it physically. Because again, like you're saying, that's a good example with the working out.
Yeah.
You may think, I've been going to the gym for the last 3 months. Why am I not seeing any results? Well, first of all, maybe you're not doing things right, but that's beside the point. Maybe it could also be like you have extra layers of fat that you need to burn. So things are happening below the surface. Like you can't see it yet, but already like your abs, your ab muscles are getting stronger, your core muscles are getting stronger under all of that fat. So you just need to remain consistent and then you'll see results. But a lot of us give up because we live in a time where we love instant gratification. So a lot of the times we give up because we don't see what we want to see when we want to see it. Like you're saying, I pray today for $1 million. Why don't I have $1 million tomorrow?
Yeah.
Why?
I think it's also like we yes, we do like instant gratification, but we're also somewhat impatient.
We're very impatient.
Yeah.
We are
want
very
it
impatient.
now.
We want it
Now.
now. But
Now.
again, the times that we're living in have made us impatient. You go on TikTok, you have a 30-second video. It's done. I don't have time to go watch an 18-minute YouTube video when I can watch a 30-second TikTok video that explains everything.
Yes.
You know? So because we've gotten conditioned to that, where everything is just instant. Now we expect everything in our lives as well to be instant.
Yeah.
You expect to have 10 years experience in the 3 months that you've been working at a job. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't happen like that. So I think that's just today's word of the day. Like, don't give up just because you don't see things happening. And just because you don't see things happening, it doesn't mean that things aren't happening. Things are always happening.
Yeah.
Somehow, somewhere. It may take 10 years, but eventually you'll get there. And then one day you'll be like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe that I'm here. There's actually a song that's on my workout playlist. It's called Overnight by Connor Price. It's such a great song.
Yeah.
But just the chorus is thinking that it happened overnight, but it didn't.
Yeah.
Because to everyone else, it looks like it was just instant success, but it wasn't. So that is our word of the day. So we'll be right back with our top stories. Today we're talking a lucky man and, of course, the feud that is happening between P Squared. Stick around.
eTicket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
Now today we're talking about 365 paid days of leave won by Chinese man at company dinner, and it has sent social media abuzz with excitement discussing whether or not the winner should encash or just enjoy the prize. One lucky employee has become the object of envy in China for bagging the lucky draw grand prize at his company's annual dinner, a whole year's worth of paid leave. In the viral video that has been circulating on Chinese social media, a man was seen sitting down on a chair in what looks like a formal banquet hall, accompanied by a woman and two young children who appeared to be his family members. He was holding a large check which read 365 days of paid leave. An administrative employee of the company, Ms. Chen, told Chinese media that as this was the company's first annual meeting due to COVID-19, her department had planned a lucky draw to help relieve employees' work stress. After discussion with the company boss, the department decided to make the lucky draw an even bigger event, incorporating the grand prize of a year-long paid vacation as a pleasant surprise. Now, the lucky draw pot consisted of both prizes and penalties. A penalty, for instance, could entail drinking a special homemade drink or serving as a waiter. Though there was only one grand prize, smaller prizes such as an additional 1 or 2 rest days or annual leave days could also be drawn in the raffle. But no one had expected this outcome, said Ms. Chen. We never thought that this would be drawn by someone, she laughed. The boss was stunned. The unusual nature of the prizes left many netizens in disbelief and envy of the lucky employee's windfall. Some asked if it was April Fool's Day joke, while others called on their employers to follow suit. The incident also sparked much discussion on how the employee should handle his prize, with many sharing what they would personally do. For example, some were saying because it's so long, by the time he comes back, he would have forgotten how to do his job, so he should rather just take the money.
How long is it?
365 days, it's the whole year.
Yeah. Oh, it's not so long. You can't forget how to do your
Job.
job in a year.
Exactly.
Like you can't unlearn. I still have skills from my previous job.
Yes.
I still know how to do that job.
You still remember what you studied in media
Yeah.
laws 10 years ago?
Yeah, like a year is nothing.
A year
guys.
is nothing.
A year is
Honestly
like a
speaking,
day.
I would just enjoy it.
Yeah.
I would enjoy it to the fullest. You are getting paid your full salary every month for a year, and you're not going to work.
That's nice.
And people are like, no, but you'll get bored. And then
How? Why would I get bored? Do you think I like working?
And some were saying the company is then going to realize how much they don't need you. You're going to prove that you're invaluable
Did he win
to the
the
company.
days from the company?
He won from the company.
Like the negativity in me wants to say the company maybe is trying to get rid of you.
That's what other people were saying. Other people were saying maybe the company is just trying to find a way to get rid of you.
Yeah,
Like
for a
to
whole
see,
year.
you know what, how well can we do without this guy? And then they see that he's not there. But listen, in that year, you can use that year to find a job elsewhere.
Yeah.
You can just use, like, listen, if
To
you're
start
giving
your
me,
own business.
start your own business. If you're giving me my full salary for the whole year without me ever having to do any work, I'll find things to do with that money.
Yeah. You can get a side hustle.
Maybe even travel, Nyana. Use 1 month's salary to just travel, and then 11 months salary, you do something else with it.
You have enough time, actually.
You have enough time. People
You have
must just stop being negative.
Enough time. I think go enjoy your holiday. Like live well.
Live well, have
Love
fun.
well.
Enjoy time with your family.
Enjoy.
Because we know that like the work culture over that side is extremely intense.
Yeah.
So at least if you can spend that time with your family and your children, enjoy it, my guy. Enjoy it.
But nonetheless, let's move over to some news. This news have been going on for quite some time. And yeah, let's unpack. Peter Okoye, one half of P Square, has spoken on the ongoing feud between him and his twin brother Paul. In a statement on X on Monday, Peter denied accusation that he reported Paul to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, stating that his focus was on uncovering the truth behind a secret company, Northside Music, allegedly owned by their brother Jude Okoye and his wife Ifema. Peter, in a statement, wrote, "Before I tell you the whole story, here is what I need you to all understand. It's always surprising to me when people say P Square is bringing their family matters into the public eye. Well, let me clarify this. P Square is just not a family. It's a public brand, but Peter, Paul, Jude, Anita, Ifema, Lola, and the rest of our family members are family, but P Square is an entity that belongs to the public as much as it does to us." Good one. Agreed. Our families have played a significant role in our success, so they have the right to own what's happening with their beloved brand P Square. That's why it's understandable when certain aspects of our lives are shared publicly. Now, let's get straight to the point. I want to make it clear that I never reported my twin brother Paul to the EFCC. I know many of you were disappointed when Paul accused me of doing so. He mentioned I wrote a petition against him, which he claimed made the EFCC to ask him to provide surety. This statement suggested that he was detained, which is not true. Peter, Paul, Jude own a management company together called Northside Entertainment, which we use to manage all P Square affairs. One day I discovered another company with a similar name, but this one was called Northside Music instead of Northside Entertainment. This surprised me, so I decided to investigate further. And guess what? To my shock, the founders and directors of this secret company were none other than Jude Okoye and his wife, and their registered address was the family home of Jude's wife. Peter disclosed that he confronted Paul many times about the company and missing royalties, but Paul denied knowledge, saying that his legal team only targeted Jude and his wife, the directors of the company, not Paul. He added, "Still in shock, I knew I had to talk to Paul about it. I approached him multiple times at 4 different times, asking him if he knew anything about the secret company and the whereabouts of some P Square royalties. Each time I met with him, he denied knowing anything. I want to set the record straight. I hereby acknowledge I hereby challenge Paul or anyone else to show any petition that I, Peter Okoye, have submitted against my twin brother Paul or that has Paul's name on it. I'm still writing this with so much shock because I gave clear instruction to my legal team with a standing order that under no circumstances should Paul be included in my petition."
Yo.
Yeah.
Family drama.
These two, I don't know, I think it was on Monday, Peter went on a rant on Twitter claiming that he always felt excluded from P Square because when they would do interview, Road Boy Paul will always take credit for all the success of P Square. He was just saying that P Square is a brand made by two people.
Yeah.
It's not only your efforts, it's my efforts as well. It's a collective effort. So apparently every time Paul will just go to interview and say, yeah, the song that I wrote is doing so well. And then when they are asked questions about him, it's always about him. And I, and me, and me. And it's never about we as a collective, as it should be. So Peter was just feeling some type of way. Why do you always have to exclude me? So apparently Paul is under the impression that Peter is competing against him. And apparently Paul always discredits Peter. Peter apparently is like non-existent to P Square because his songs are a failure. The songs that he have written are a failure, which is not true, because then Peter went on a list of all his songs that he had written for P Square,
that were a
and
success.
those are the songs that I know, actually. I'm
Oh,
like,
gee.
okay, so what
I
is your
mean-
brother saying? It's just so sad to see that twins can go to this extent.
No, but that's why they say you should never work with family. You should never work
But
with
twins.
family. Even especially twins.
Oh.
Because remember, as twins, they grow up as one person.
Yes.
Twins are never individuals.
Yeah.
Because every time they refer to them, it's the twins, the boys, the what. They're never individuals. And then even now in the music industry, they were known as P Square. For the longest time, we didn't know who Peter was, who
or
Paul
Paul
was.
was, yeah.
It was just P Square. So there's that thing of, no, but I want to branch out. I want to be recognized for my own efforts, you see. So that's why
wild.
they say, moral of the story, don't work with family, don't work with friends, rather work with strangers, because then it's easier to cut them off.
Yeah.
It's easier if they
No
stab you in the
string
back.
attached.
No strings attached. If they stab you in the back, it's like, oh, okay, they're a stranger. What did I expect?
Yeah.
It won't hurt as much. But anyway, that does bring us to the end of our top stories. Stick around after the break. Glenora gets into an interesting chat. Stick around.
I'm currently smelling the coffee with a beautiful Jackie. I gave her a nickname, Jackie Porter, because she's behind the wonderful exhibition called what?
Delicate Thorns.
Delicate Thorns. I like that
Yes.
name, Delicate Thorns. Can you give me a little bit of your journey coming into this space of creating ceramics? How did that start out for you? Did you know you wanted to become a potter, or it's just something that found you?
Well, I've been doing pottery for over 30 years now, and it's something that I always wanted to do. I am not quite sure how I wanted to do it, but I think it basically started decades ago. There were monthly markets in Independence Avenue, and I think there was a potter there that sort of showed things, how to do pottery on the wheel. And my mom bought me like a tiny little pot, and I think maybe it started there. But also from very, very young, I was always excited by Play-Doh or Salto. So I always wanted to make things, do things with my hands, and create things. And then at a young age, my dad brought home a bag of clay. And he said, well, there's your clay, so do something. So I would have do little courses and just learn the basics. And then eventually, but I always wanted to make pots on the pottery wheel. And so eventually they relented and they bought me a pottery wheel. And then I had to take weekly classes to learn how to do it. And just started from there, and then eventually got a kiln and a pottery oven, and built up. And now I have a big studio with lots of wheels, and I have about 50 students that I teach at home, 50 adult students, and 4 or 5 kilns. And so that's a very short little synopsis. I also studied.
It's a beautiful synopsis. Actually.
Yeah, I also studied art. So I have a degree in 3-dimensional art and a degree in fashion design. So yeah, I also designed fashion, and that's sort of creating 3D from something flat, or in the case of ceramics, using something that is so abundant, like mud, basically. And you create something that lasts forever, even if it's just in the form of shards, it's just, so it's true alchemy for me to take something worthless and create something that can have immense value. If you think about pieces that we have from ancient Romans or Egyptians or Greeks or Chinese, and it can teach so much about culture and what people did and their art and ate. And it's just, I get totally excited about pottery.
No, I totally get that. I read something that you chose the medium mud because it's a great way to express your beingness. And I was like, wow, that's so profound. Like, to find something that you can express who you are in, and to the whole extent of it, so that's really beautiful.
And I think, I often tell people I still play with mud, you know, and I get paid to play with mud. And
It's like you're still a child. Yeah.
exactly. And I think pottery is one of the ultimate ways how you can encourage your inner child still, because, you know, which child did not play with mud?
I know we all did.
Exactly.
We
So
cleared
it's
houses and
exactly
and so forth. Which this is taking me back.
exactly, and that's what I still do. I just play with mud, and I love it. I get so excited, and this exhibition just rebirthed or re-emphasized my
Getting into this
excitement.
exhibition, Delicate Thorns, beautiful name, by the way.
Thank you.
You did mention that it was inspired because you did a trip somewhere, and
Yes.
then that brought together this beautiful exhibition that we have here.
Yes.
Can you
So
tell us more?
in May this year, I had a holiday in the Netherlands and in England. And in particular in Netherlands, I wanted to go to the Keukenhof Botanical Gardens, which is the botanical gardens that have their main flower and tulip display for 2 months in the year. And it is absolutely magical. The color combinations and the shapes, you know, often if we think of a tulip, we just think of like a 4-petal flower, but the magic that they create with those flowers and the color
I saw
combinations.
the colors in there.
Exactly.
That's where it's
And
coming from.
that's what I try to bring into the work. So not as flowers per se, but on a more ethereal, almost fairy-like way. I could just imagine that there's lots of fairies living in that garden. So in a very soft, delicate, almost dreamy way. And I also went to the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam, which is the big museum there. And in England, went to manor houses and their gardens, and all of that just inspired me in the forms and the colors that I combined to create the works for this exhibition.
Now, getting into my next question, I know that you partnered with Chris Johnston. He's a photographer.
Yes.
And this is not the first partnership between the two of you guys.
No, we've known each other for a very long time. We're very dear friends. And we had, well, he used to have a gallery in Omaruru. And I exhibited there, I think in 2017 or 2018. But we've never had an exhibition together with our work. And I thought it would be so profound for our work to be together. And that's where the title comes from, Delicate Thorns, because my pieces, they're made from porcelain, and porcelain is quite delicate and ethereal in the colors. And his pieces are stronger. They have stronger commentary, stronger themes. So it's almost a bit like the thorn in people's sides. So that, you know, it makes such a strong statement. And also his pieces, you need to really sit down, take time to see the pieces, not just look at them. And often if we think and look and contemplate something, we have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. So that's why porcelain, if people think porcelain, they think of cups and, you know, ceremony and just comfort. And, you know, it's this complete juxtaposition between, you know, thorns cannot really be delicate because they're meant to hurt, but also, you know, the delicateness of the porcelain and then the strong commentary of the photography work. So that's how the concept of the exhibition developed.
I totally love it. I'm quite curious, how did you guys come together creatively? Because these are two different mediums, first of all. I would have never pictured the two combined together. And it's great to see it like that. How was the creative process? And also, why are collaborations in the artistic sphere very important?
Well, this happened because I didn't like empty walls. So I needed someone to fill the walls. But it's actually a lot deeper than that. I just feel by having combined exhibitions, you get 2 or 3 distinct audiences together in one place, because some people are more drawn to ceramics and they might not go to a photography exhibition, and Some people prefer photography, or, you know, if I would combine with a painter, people might, you know, you have an audience for painted work. So by having a collaboration, you bring two worlds together, and it creates a strong topic for conversation. And it's also two very different lines of working in 3D, which, you know, are pieces that you can move around, walk around, touch. And then photography, which is a two-dimensional image of three-dimensional objects. You know, so it's like this capture of a three-dimensional object.
And that's it for today's episode of Smell the Coffee. You can catch us again tomorrow, same time, same place. Do have yourselves a lovely Wednesday.